For those there, some of you have heard my voice over the years when you were kids, that you're familiar with what I'm talking about. And here's what I know. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. This is a time for us to remember who we are. And that people who are running in fear, people who are running scared, people who are engaging in escape behavior. This is no time to be dancing and shouting and bring the fans out and the boots out. No. Because there are things and efforts that when you're under attack, things that we fought years for, stony the road we trod, bitter the chesting rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We've come over a way that with tears have been watered. We've come treading a path through the blood of the slaughter. It's no time to be afraid. It's time to remind ourselves of who we are and what we have gone through and what we have come from. Come from greatness. And greatness, you got to be hungry for it. Power gives nothing without a demand. That's what Frederick Douglass said. Things that we've fought for and just beginning to look how things are being stripped away. And so the question is, I remember Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, people would call in and complaining about stuff they were going through, and Joe would ask a question. What are you going to do about it? And this is a time we're looking at blatant stuff. I mean, blatant stuff. And so now we have to draw the line. Do you realize, and check it out, the suicide rate of our children has increased dramatically. Don't want to be here, as well as adults. And the emergency rooms, the stuff that's this climate where we are, it's not mentally healthy. I had to disengage. I was having all kind of pain and inflammation in my body. And my business partner, Jerry, said, Les, stop watching the news. And he was right. I was going to the doctor. See, I got these pains in my back. And so one night I just decided to put my blood pressure cup on my arm, and I noticed my blood pressure going up, watching the news. So garbage in, garbage stays. And this environment, it's not healthy. But here's what I know. There's nothing as powerful as a made-up mind. Here's what I know. That we have the power to overcome this. We're not going to be running scared. A lot of people are running scared. See, evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. We owe it to our children to step up. I saw a little girl, she was so cute. They think they call her Miss Shirley. She's just a cute little thing, and she can do these little dances like adults. And then I see these videos of Chinese kids learning all types of things, being groomed and curated to become entrepreneurs and world leaders. This is what we must be doing. We see, I'm seeing so many brothers that's being interviewed talking about who's the GOAT, Kobe or LeBron. Can't even afford tickets to a game. No. See, the masses, we have been programmed and socialized to focus on entertainment. This is an era of learning. That Peter Drucker said we must be willing to learn, to unlearn, learn, and relearn. Now, and I'm clear, I'm not talking to the masses. The road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it. But if you can hear me in your heart, if you know what I'm talking about, It's our time to step. This is a crisis. And crisis in the Chinese language means danger, but it also means opportunity. There's stuff going on right now. When you look at what ICE is doing, getting Black and brown people out of the country, and then they're bringing people in that they say, oh, those are the ones they can come. They're escaping racism. This is not a time to be enraged about what they are doing. This is a time that we have to focus on what we are going to do. This is a time. Just think about this. We have infinite information here. We have access in our hands to information here. Think about this. This is a time when you're hungry for greatness. We should be thinking about, how do we create our own economy? How do we create our own jobs? How do we, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, do for self? That's what we need to be thinking about. What do we do now? Just think about how powerful information is. Mary McLeod Bethune said that my access to information changed my life. Frederick Douglass was a slave. The slave master came home and saw his wife teaching Frederick Douglass how to read. He took him out in the backyard and tied his hands on a fence and beat him with a buggy whip. Almost killed him. The wife was screaming, "Stop, you're going to kill him, you're going to kill him." And when he stopped, Frederick Douglass lost consciousness. He crawled under the house to nurse his wounds. And he heard the slave master talking to his wife, who asked with anguish and regret, "Why did you beat him like that? You could have killed him." And the slave master said, "Never teach a slave how to read. Because once he learns how to read, he'll never be satisfied being a slave." And you think about that. We're living in a country that learning how to read, if you were a Black person, they would lynch you. It was a capital offense. And now we got access to all types of information. Oh, and it's easy to stand by, oh, they should not be firing all these people. Life be lifing. Think it not strange that you're going to face the fiery furnaces of this world. Now we have to think about, hey, Marion White said, in life, when you don't have enough courage or insight to know that you have outgrown a situation and it's time to move on, life will move on you. I used to be a disc jockey in Columbus, Ohio, and they fired me. And I was young, I was rebellious and militant. I came to the radio station. It was a morning show. I tried to put my key in the doorknob, and it wouldn't fit. I was editorializing about police brutality. And at this time, now keep in mind, I'm 80. At this time, and really it hasn't changed much, police brutality, police beating the hell out of you or killing you was not a crime. You couldn't file charges of police brutality. And I editorialized, there was a case called the Kahiki Incident. People from Columbus, Ohio. If Columbus, somebody know what I'm talking about. When I went against the police department in Columbus, Ohio, for the first time in the history of this country, 2 white policemen were fired for beating this couple, and the mother and the father, he was a Vietnam veteran, he was holding his 9-month-old baby. And so the snap, I'm going to share something, we're going to let you see this, but at any rate, they fired me. Now, I love radio. And at that time, I thought, oh my God, I'm married, I've got a family, got a mortgage note. What am I going to do now? This is all that I know. It was all that I knew because that's all that I bothered to learn how to do. My talents, my abilities, my skills to provide for my family. Had I not been fired, I never would have ran for the higher legislature and won. Had I not been fired, I would not have discovered a part of myself that I did not know and became a community activist and was the chairman of the Human Resource Committee and the Education Committee. And I'm not saying this to impress you. I was born in an abandoned building on a floor in Miami, Florida. My mother and father, they conceived me and my twin brother in Gainesville, Georgia. We were a secret. And they went down to Miami to give birth to us, went to Jackson Memorial Hospital, and at that time, they didn't accept colored people. And so they had to drive around and find an abandoned building. And Dorothy Rucker and the colonel, my father, Oliver, I just saw pictures of him 3 years ago, and gave birth to me and my twin brother on a floor in Liberty City, 62nd Street, Northwest 17th Avenue. And put us in foster care. Life happens to all of us. Viktor Frankl, in a book called Man's Search for Meaning, he said, in life, you either in a problem, or just left one, or headed toward one. And some of y'all know about Dimples, who said, if it ain't one thing, it's another. But Mamie Brown, God took me out of my biological mother's womb, Dorothy Bell Rucker, and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. Mamie Brown, she showed up. Mr. Curry, my godfather. Hey, Mamie, yes, I heard you said that you want a boy. You want a child. Yeah. Well, this lady, she's in Liberty City in this abandoned building. She had a set of twins. Would you take two? She said, yes. He said, then get dressed. And they came to this building, came in, and Mama said she was sitting on a mattress that they made with their, no, not a mattress, a pile of clothes. And she said that Dorothy Bell Rucker, my birth mother, looked up and said, are you Miss Mamie? Yes, I heard about you. And Mr. Curry and Mr. Bannister said, you should take my boys. Do you want them? She said, yes. And Mr. Curry and Mr. Bannister helped her stand up. And Mr. Curry said, my mother got in Mamie Brown's face and just looked in her eyes, seemed like about 5 minutes. Are you going to take care of my boys? And Mama said, yes. And he said, he got closer to her, their nose almost touched. You promise never to separate them? They're twins. I promise. You promise you'll feed them and keep a roof over their head? Yes. I swear to God, I've never had any children. I've always wanted a child, but I'll take the two of them. And Mr. Moore said, he looked at Mr. Bannister and wondered what was going to happen next. And she handed us over to Mamie Brown. And a light blue blanket. And she turned to walk out and said, Dorothy Bell Rucker, our birth mother, followed her to the car. Mr. Moss opened the door. Our mother got in holding us. And he said, your mother looked again at Miss Mamie. Could you promise that you'll take care of my boys? You promise? She said, I swear to God. I swear to God. And they both were crying. And she kissed us one last time, Wesley and I, on the head. And she turned her back to the car, hit the car on the side, and said, "Go! Go, Mr. Moss, go." And he said he started driving off slowly. And then all of a sudden, he heard a sound, "Wait! Mr. Moss, wait!" And he said, my mother asked, "Mr. Moss, you think she changed her mind?" He said, "I don't know." And she came and looked once again. "You promise you gonna take care of her, right?" And Mama said, "I told her yes, Leslie." And she turned her back and walked away, and Mr. Moss drove away slowly. Now, there's a reason that we're taught judge not according to appearances. All this stuff that's going on, anybody looking at Wesley and I would have predicted that they're going to be statistics. They don't have a chance. They're in Liberty City, Overtown, poverty. Mamie Brown got a 3rd grade education, never had no children. The odds are against them. When I was in the 5th grade, I was labeled educable mentally retarded and put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade and failed again in the 8th grade at Booker T. Washington High School in Miami. Anybody looking at me and my brother, who became a Vietnam veteran, he did 2 tours in Vietnam, Purple Heart veteran, Sky Soldier, and served in the Persian Gulf, was wounded in Vietnam, spent 3 months in a hospital in Japan. And me, I decided I wanted to be a disc jockey. Anybody looking at me, he doesn't have a chance. There are people that's looking at us right now. Oh, we're going to take away DEI. Oh, we're going to change funding, and we're going to establish. We're going to take away funds from the colleges and universities. We're going to close down the Department of Education. Why? Rob them of knowledge and information. Oh yeah. Oh, we got them now. We got them now. Y'all ain't gonna get no affirmative action. All that y'all fought for, and we shall overcome all that mess. That's gone out of here now. It's a new sheriff in town now. We got you now. Oh boy, let me tell you something. Judge not according to appearances, but righteous judgment, right thinking. This is a time for us to have a reset. This is a time for us to get our minds together. This is a time for us to begin to put filters on what we watch and what we see and what we hear and how we use our time. I was talking to somebody today and I said, "Look here, when can we meet to talk about some possibilities of things we can do in the community?" And she said, "Well, what about next week?" I said, "Listen to me, I'm 80. You think I'm gonna be waiting around to meet with you next week? Let's look at how we can do a Zoom. I know you want to get caught up in this Atlanta traffic. Let's do a Zoom to talk if we're gonna work together." Listen to me. Make your time work for you. Life it's moving fast. I'm telling you. When you have a lot of bills to pay, you don't get 30 days out of the month. You get 2 weeks. Didn't I just pay that bill last week? I'm telling you, life is. I'm 80. What? I used to think people in their 40s were old, but now I'm looking in the mirror. Who does this? I'm 80. Whoa, where did the time go? I remember I was in Vegas, and Frank Sinatra was at Caesar's Palace, and Gladys and I were married at the time, but he was not performing. He was talking to a young man. I overheard the conversation. He said to this young man, "Live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be." Now, I want you to write this down. Live your life the way you want to leave your life. You know why I'm talking? I don't know how much time I got left. I used to speak to various groups when I was speaking for AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, General Electric, IBM, Xerox. And I asked, if you had 3 months to live, what would you do differently? And all of them said, I would quit my job. I said, well, as far as you know, this could be your last week on the planet, or this day could be your last day. So I asked myself this morning, what do? You talk about live your life the way you want to live your life. Les Brown, if you had 3 months to live, what would you do if you knew that definitively? Because we don't know. I said, I would speak this morning. I would do seminars. I'll do workshops. I'll train more people. I'll speak until I leave here. And I tell my kids, when they tell you that I've died, don't let them embalm me for 3 days. Sneak in the morgue and put a microphone in my hand. And if I don't grab it and say, you got to be hungry, call your brothers and sisters and say, Daddy's gone. How you know? Because I put a microphone in his hand and he didn't say nothing. I mean to tell you, live your life the way you want to live your life. I'm not going to be here cringing in fear because of these. Don't bring the Liberty City out of me. No. Behave. Subdue those demons. Okay. No! Are you kidding me? This is time. I want you to write this down. Think about what is it that you want to do with the time that you have left. When I was a kid, give me some tissues, please. When I was a kid, we used to go to funerals of old people. Now, I've gone to funerals of young people. Young people killing each other over foolishness. Oh, I got a beef. Listening to garbage every day that creates a virus in the mind. AIDS, addiction to incarceration and death syndrome. No, this is a time that we want to fill our minds with things that people are talking about. Oh, listen here, look at my car and look how much money I'm making. Listen to me. There's nothing that can beat the power of peace. He said, I'll keep thee in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. The ability to get a good night's sleep. The ability to have peace. See, you can have all the money in the world. A person with their health have 1,000 dreams. But a person without their health, they have only one. Cancer Centers of America gave me this. You know what it is? It's a trophy. Les Brown, Perseverance Award. 39-year, 4th stage cancer conqueror because of God's grace and mercy. You know how I got through it? I was determined. I'll never forget the good experience I had with the oncologist. Dr. Alfred Golson graduated from Howard University. He said, Mr. Brown? I said, yes, sir. There's something I need to tell you. What is that, sir? You have cancer. I do. The most feared words in 7 different languages. The most feared words, you have cancer. I said, is there anything? Yes. Anything else? Yeah. What is it? It's prostate cancer. Your PSA, which stands for prostate specific antigen, is 2,400. I said, is there anything else? Yeah. Sorry to say, it's metastasized to 7 areas of your body. I said, wow. He said, did you hear what I just said? I said, yes. I said it metastasized to 7 areas of your body, including your spine. I said, man, 7 is my lucky number. I'm one of 7 children. I was born February the 17th. Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times. Naaman dipped himself in the river Jordan. 7 times? I said, 7 is my lucky number. I said, is there anything else? He said, yes. I said, what is it? He said, and you're ugly too. Man, you call me ugly? This is serious. He said, but you got this. I never tell my patients they're terminally ill. What I say is I determine the diagnosis. God determines the prognosis. I never tell you that you're terminally ill. I say my abilities and my talents and my skills have terminated. Now you got a fight on your hands. I want you to write this down while I'm sharing this with you. Life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. This is no time to retreat. This is no time to be learning some new dance moves. No, we're in a fight. And we got to be serious. Because they're serious. They ain't playing, and we ain't playing either. I've got 10 kids, 5 boys, 5 girls. Lord said, be fruitful and multiply. I took him seriously. Come on, somebody. 15 grandchildren, 5 great-grands. We owe it to our children to be fighting, to be involved, to developing businesses, to teach them how to become entrepreneurs. This is a brand new day. We're going through a period of creative destruction. I want you to like this page and share it. There's some people need to hear this. If you're a person of consciousness, you know some positive people, you listen to me. I know a thing or two. Listen to me. We're going through creative destruction. I used to be an elevator boy. You got on the elevator and I would ask, what floor, please? Close the door manually and push the floor. Someone created an elevator that did not require an elevator attendant. It was automated, and people just get on the elevator and push the button they wanted to go to. I used to work in a bowling alley. Millenniums don't know about this. And they knocked the pins down, and me and other kids who worked in the back, we would go down, get down, and we straighten the pins up physically. Someone created an electronic tray that destroyed our jobs. When I was a kid, if you wanted to make a long distance call, somebody put some flames up so I can see it. If you wanted to make a long distance call, you had to call the long distance operator. That thing's gone. You can call directly. If anybody know what I'm talking about, please, I want to see some flames or something to indicate that you know what I'm talking about. We're going through creative destruction. AI, artificial intelligence, is going to replace over 325 million jobs. Creative destruction. Listen to this. This statistic just came out 3 days ago. If you're living from paycheck to paycheck, before less than a year, 60% of the Americans that are living from paycheck to paycheck will lose everything they have. I'm telling you what I know. Now, so Elsie Robinson said something. Things may happen around you and things may happen to you, but the only things that really count are the things that happen in you. And I'm saying to you, the people that are going to make it are hungry for greatness and have a mindset they're destined to win. I want to ask you a question. People ask me, what drives you? I promised my mother, I used to work on Miami Beach with my mother. She would take me to work with her. She was cleaning the homes of wealthy families. And Mama took in 7 kids as foster kids. But she took me to work with her. You know why? The neighbors wouldn't watch me. Miss Catherine, Miss Curry, our neighbors, they said, look here, we'll watch these 6, but we ain't gonna watch Leslie because he's a little crazy. He's a little touched in the head. Oh my God. So Mama would take me to work with him. And I used to look at these big, beautiful mansions. And as we were cleaning the homes, show you how God works, I said, Mama, what is it, boy? One day when I become a man, I'm gonna buy you a big, beautiful home, just like this. Oh, Leslie, you don't have to do that. I said, I know, Mama, but I want to do this for you. You don't have to do that, Leslie. I said, I know, but you didn't have to take us in either. You didn't have to adopt us, but you did. You're a single mother raising 7 children you didn't give birth to. And let me share something with you while I'm sharing this with you. This is a moment of opportunity. How can you say that with all the stuff that's going on? Remember what I said earlier. Had I not been fired from radio, LB Triple P, let's run your platter playing popper. There were none before me and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Had I not been fired, I would not be here now. Had I not been fired, I would not have spoken around the world. Had I not been fired, I would not have inspired over 3 billion people on the planet. Let me tell you something. I know something about you. Even though I can't see you, you have greatness in you. But you got to be hungry. You got to put in the time and the effort to develop that greatness. And when you do that, you're destined to win. Because I want you to think about your goals and dreams and the purpose and the meaning of your life, because you're going to get some pushback. You will fail your way to success. We're getting pushback now. But listen to me. Listen to me. There's a scripture that Jesus came to a town and a lady said, Lord, have mercy. And the next line in scripture said, he saw her. Come on now. Listen, I see you. You have greatness in you. You can do more than you can ever begin to imagine. I know this to be true. I know this. And you're going to go through some stuff. It's a part of the process. Things are going to happen to you, things are going to happen to me, and things are going to happen to the people that we care about. Therefore, take unto you the whole armor of God. What do you mean? Of one, taking responsibility for changing the direction of your life. Don't settle for life as it is. I remember when I was married and I was working and I was the #1 personality in radio in Columbus, Ohio, and this guy, Bert Charles, he was just giving me hell. He was making my life a living hell. And I came home and I said to my wife, I said, that Bert Charles, he's a stupid person. He's stupid. And she asked me very calmly, if he's stupid, why is he signing your paycheck? We're taught, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Carlyle said, truth crushed the earth shall rise again. Winston Churchill said, the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but at the end, there it is. There it is. I had a stupid person signing my paycheck. If I'm the smart one, why is he signing my paycheck? I couldn't sleep that night. I had to face myself. And so I began to train myself. I began to read. Listen to me. Take responsibility for what it is you want. Get a goal that's beyond your comfort zone. Why, Les? Because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. Paul said, I must die daily. You got to die to who you are now to give birth to who you are to become. We were born and preserved for such a time as this. I see you. You have greatness in you. You're destined to win when you are willing to work on yourself. When you're willing to study. When you're willing to be creative. When you're willing to bring out the entrepreneur in you. When you're willing to expand your vision of yourself. Dr. Miles Monroe, one of my most famous students, he said, Les Brown, he said, hey man, you're getting up there in age. He said, you've been successful. There's no success without successors. He's on the other side. Dr. Miles, you're right. I'm looking for some men, not sperm donors, men. I'm looking for some women who want to make a difference, who want to make a mark. I'm looking for some young people who have a sense of destiny and purpose and knowing that we were chosen. We've been picked out to be picked on because of who we are, because we got it like this. We got this. This is our time. This is our time. The 40-40 plan is going where you can go to college and get a job and retire on 40%, which wasn't enough in the first place. It's a different market. This is an era of accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. I was reading where these people, federal employees that have been fired, not because they weren't doing a good job, just for political reasons, fired, and they're out looking for jobs. Some of it's a tight job market. Are you kidding me? Some of them, most of them graduated from college. So are you serious? No, we can create jobs. We have the ability to do that. We've been programmed and socialized to get a job. No, we're entrepreneurs. There are people who come to this country, can't speak the language, and they hit the ground running, and they have a 3 to 4 times greater chance of owning their own business and owning their own home. Can't speak the language, don't know the culture. I remember in Miami, I'd hired this Latino family to do some work for me, and it was doing we're going through a recession at this particular time. And I looked, and they used to come and they were cutting grass in the neighborhood, and pretty soon they got a car, and then with such limited English, they told me they'd bought a home, and I couldn't understand how did they do that so quickly. They used to watch the news. They're watching the news to understand the language, but the news was above their ability to translate it. We're going through tough times economically, but they didn't know it. I want you to write this down. Sometimes you got to be intelligently ignorant. I'm telling you what I know. I paid a friend of mine. I said I wanted to speak for corporations, and he took my money, and we did a deep dive and training on how to train corporate executives. He was a high-ranking corporate executive at AT&T. When I got ready to go, he said, Les, can I tell you something? I said, yes. I brought him a certified check because I couldn't stop payment on it. He said, I wouldn't hire you. Why would you say that? You're my friend. He said, I understand. How can I justify it? I have an MBA. You're talking about earning $5,000 to $10,000 an hour. I have an MBA. You have none of that. No corporate experience. You come to me to train you how to speak to corporations. I'm working 60 to 70 hours a week. You have no experience in this area. I could not justify, oh, behold, he's a nice guy, got a nice personality. I could not justify what credentials, what experience, what background does he have in this? How can you develop the credibility to teach people how to do something you've never done? He said, man, if I were you, go to another city. They're not going to hire you there. They blackball you because you're so controversial and talking about police brutality. Go to another city, man. You can do radio. I said, thank you. His wife said, when Mike Williams, and I want you to get his book, The Road to Your Best Stuff. The Road to Your Best Stuff. She asked him as they watched us get in the car, she said, I want to ask you something. Ed, yeah? You think he's going to listen to you? He said, no. But he respects you. He looks up to you. He came here and paid you to train him. He said, yeah. Why do you think he won't listen to you? What you said makes sense. You know what he said? He said, he doesn't know enough to know he can't do it. He doesn't know enough to know he can't do it. There are things that you can do that eye has not seen. There are things that you can do, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. But you got to be willing to put in the work. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. You were not chosen out of 400 million sperm just to be here to live a small life or sit around and complain about what they are doing. Oh, they've eliminated DNI. Who are they? Nothing. Are you kidding me? They're nothing compared to who you are and what we have gone through. Booker T. Washington said, judge a man not by what he's accomplished, but what he had to go through for his accomplishment. You got to fight for what you want. When I decided that I wanted to do this work, I didn't come in. I wasn't going to have them put me in a box and say he's a black speaker. No. I wanted to be a dominant speaker. You got to think in terms of dominance. You're made in the likeness and image of God. You've been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. But listen to me. Listen to me. We will never exercise authority and dominion over our lives until we exercise authority and dominion over what we are not. Did you hear me? Dr. Carter G. Woodson, come forth, please. If you can determine what a man shall think, you'll never have to concern yourself with what he will do. He said, if you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. He'll go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. That's why you see grown people walking around with their pants below their butts, suffering from a mind virus of mediocrity. I love when Dr. Miles Monroe, he talked about live full, die empty. Dr. Carter G. Woodson was a bad boy, but let me tell you something. Howard Thurman was a bad brother. He said the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, but you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. We never heard your voice. We never heard your story. We never saw your genius. And there they are, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. I want to ask you, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what leadership, what story, Dr. Cheryl Wood said, that story you're sitting on, somebody's waiting on. What gifts will die with you? We were deployed. There's something you've got that it's you, an unrepeatable miracle. It's you, it's in you. And don't get stuck in your head. I didn't do what I'm doing now for 14 years. I don't have a college education. I have no corporate experience. And people were telling me I couldn't do it. People who should have been encouraging me, saying, go for it, Les, you can do it, Mamie's boy. Say, you can't do that. And then I told myself I couldn't do it. There's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. I want you to like this page and share it. I'm going to share something with you right now. Get some other people tune in. There's a lot of craziness out here. Let some people who you know that's playing with a full deck, because this is not for everybody. This is for the few. You're listening to me. You know why you're listening to me? Because what's in me is in you. What I've done, you're going to do and do it even more. And so I was at this event. Ever been to an event where somebody was speaking and you said to yourself, he's talking to me? I was at this event and this guy was speaking and I was listening. And the things that he was saying, he was talking to me. He said, you know what? And then he stopped. See, everybody can't move me. You got to be good to get me. He said, there's somebody here that should be up here holding this microphone. And he looked around the audience. I'm seated behind somebody. He said, but you've convinced yourself you couldn't do it. Has that ever happened to you? Something you felt in your heart that you can do, but being practical and logical and realistic, you convinced yourself that you couldn't do it? He said, you've told yourself that you don't have the education or the qualifications. And I'm saying, what does he know about that? This conversation I'm having with myself. He said, but what you have is enough. And then he went on continuing to speak. And he stopped again. He said, look, this just dropped in my spirit. I don't know who you are, but God told me to share this with you. The reason I'm standing up here in your dream, holding this microphone, changing people's lives, and you're seated out there, I represent the thoughts you have rejected for yourself. Oh my God, that was a gut punch. I went outside and I went to a telephone booth. This is where Superman used to change his clothes, but he can't do that now. They don't have telephone booths anymore. And you can make a phone call with a dime. Some of these millenniums know what I'm talking about. Okay, I called Mike Williams. I said, Mike. He said, yeah, Brownie, what's happening? I said, I'm not rejecting myself anymore. You hear me? Brownie, calm down. No, I'm not rejecting myself anymore. My mother has breast cancer. And I'm not rejecting myself anymore. She needs me, and I promised her she won't go to a nursing home. I promised her I would take care of her. And I know I can speak, but I've been afraid. I've always thought people who had college education were more intelligent than me, and I would not have anything to say to them. He said, Brownie, I hear you, man. I said, will you help me, Mike? He said, yes. I'm coming down to see you. I want to say something to you. Ask for help. Not because you're weak. Ask for help because you want to remain strong. I want you to write this down. Sometimes you have to have somebody in your life believe in you until your belief kicks in. I'm telling you what I know. He always saw this for me. Always. He said, man, you can do more than be a disc jockey. And there was in this situation, I just got reelected to the higher legislature for the third term. My sister calls me, Margaret, and Leslie, are you sitting down? What's wrong with Mama? Mama has breast cancer. I say, okay, I'll be right there. No, Leslie, you don't have to come. You just got reelected to the higher legislature. Your third term, you got chairmanships over 3 committees. Come on, we got this. They got nice nursing homes in Dade County. I said, listen to me. See, I had a problem. How can one woman raise 7 children she didn't give birth to, but 7 grown people can't take care of one woman? Hell to the no. I'll be there. And the next day, I left town. The next day, left furniture, everything the next day. When I rang the doorbell, Mom was on 48th Terrace in Miami, in Liberty City. A friend of hers, Miss Mildred, answered the door, and she said, "Oh my God, it's Leslie." And I heard Mama ask, "Mildred, who's at the door?" And she said, "It's Leslie." And I heard my mother say, "I knew he would come. I knew my boy would come." Who is it that you love? Who is it that means so much to you? Who is it that had your back, that helped you when you couldn't do for yourself? What is it that feeds your soul and your spirit like speaking does for me? What is the reason that you are here? That purpose, that meaning that drives you, that you're willing to fail your way to success. You're willing to be rejected again and again and again. Who is it that gives you the courage? What is it about your life that there's something in you that your magnificent obsession that you have got to do it? You need to think about that. There's a reason for you to be here. Life is God's gift to us. And how we live our lives is our gift to God. Taking responsibility for our stuff. Letting go the fear. Living from our faith. Stepping up. Becoming engaged in life. Challenging ourselves. Not playing it safe. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you can't become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? You got to be hungry for greatness. It doesn't just happen. And you got to have a mindset that you're destined to win. Listen to me. This is what they're doing now, all this political shenanigans and lying out of both sides of their mouth. This is not the end of the story. Oh, no. Oh, no. We must become, as Mother Teresa would say, become a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter. And it starts right here. If you can feel me, if you can hear what I'm saying, if what I'm saying makes sense to you, if it resonates, let me see some hearts. Let me see some flames over here. Fire brother up. Come on now. Let me see if what I'm saying, is there anybody that can hear me? He who has ear, let him hear. This is not for everybody. I'm clear about this. The masses are out there dancing and shouting and having a good time and engaged and focused on entertainment. I'm looking for people who want to learn. I've learned some stuff. I'm looking for my peeps, the people that's my assignment, the people that I'm supposed to train, that can hear my voice. He who has ear, let him hear. And I'm not going to die an unlived life. Most people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65. And you know, a guy that trained me in radio, I was curious whatever happened to him. I wanted to reach out to find him. Found out he was someplace in the South. You know how I found out? When I looked up his name, they had a GoFundMe. GoFundMe for his funeral arrangements. When you don't take responsibility for your life, when you're not an active participant to increase your values, to develop your skills, that people have the capacity to win, but they are trying to open up new doors of opportunities with old keys. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. We have to accelerate. We have to push ourselves to know that we are destined for greatness. We're destined to win. You look at the blatant stuff they're doing now, as if we're not here. There's a quote I love. Stand up for what you believe in, because you can fall for anything. If you believe that we can create new economies, if you believe that we can create jobs, if you believe that we can educate ourselves and use the time that we have left to live a bigger life, to make a greater impact. I got to sing, always strive to be on top in life, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. I remember seeing Tony Robbins on television, and they had this infomercial that's spending. He had some investors, Gunther Rinker, and they spent over $1 million promoting him around the world for personal power program he had. So I wrote them a letter. This is before emails and text messages. Hey, my name is Les Brown, and I sent them some information about my story. And they wrote me back and said, you have a very inspiring story. And I had one of those Polaroid pictures of myself that I sent them to, right? It said, you have a very inspiring story, but you're Black. And we don't believe that America or the world is ready for a Black motivational speaker. I wrote them back and I said, thank you very much for reminding me that I'm Black. I never would have known that if you had not told me. I said, I'll see you from the top. If you go on, I'm not making this up. If you go on, put Les Brown, and it's out there, speaking in the Georgia Dome. If you go and see that, you'll see me speaking before 80,000 people. Georgia Dome, but that speech, it impacted so many people. And they had a choice of Tony Robbins, of Zig Ziglar, of Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, of Jim Rohn, but they chose Mamie Brown's Baby Boy. Why? Because I was a dominant speaker. I ain't playing with you. This is our time. Can you feel me? Let me know. I can see your comments over. Let me see the flames and some hearts or something. If this is resonating with you, here's something else. This is the time that you want to be unreasonable. What do you mean? When I was a kid, we used to say, to illustrate that something was impossible, you would say, oh, you got as much chance of doing that as a man going to the moon. We've gone to the moon. John F. Kennedy called a meeting. He was inspired to do it because he was determined the United States would beat Russia to the moon. Wernher von Braun, very brilliant Jewish inventor and scientist. The press and everybody, they were there. He asked, Wernher, what will it take for us to go to the moon? And everybody with the typewriters and everybody set and anxious and ready to take notes and look at the charts and the illustrations. I want to ask you, what will it take for you to create a new life, to create a new outcome? What will it take for you to become involved in creating a movement that will change the lives of our children and our children's children? Wernher, what will it take for us to go to the moon? Wernher von Braun said, the will to do it. And everybody waiting. The president looked at him. He didn't say anything else. The will to do it. The next day, John F. Kennedy called a news conference and said, we're going to the moon in 10 years. He did it in 8. What will it take for us? All the stuff that's been taken away, all the advances that have been stripped, all the efforts to wipe us out of the history books. What will it take to create a different environment where we can feel safe and secure, a nourishing environment that's inspiring and inclusive, and allow us to create a world that we can be proud of, and our children's children can be proud that we live? The will to do it. What will it take for you to recover from COVID? What will it take for you to become an entrepreneur? You don't have the money, you don't have the education, you don't have the resources. It's something you've never done before. You realize that what Peter Drucker said, that we must be willing to unlearn, learn, and relearn. That there are people that are failing because they are not willing to unlearn the ways and the thinking that's archaic, that can't get them where they want to go. What will it take for you to make up your mind? There's nothing as powerful as a made-up mind. What will it take for you to say, I ain't going out like this? What will it take for you? Like Fannie Lou Hamer said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. What will it take for you to raise your voice, to get serious, to develop your skills, to begin to look at your relationships and create a different kind of environment? Because who you run with determines who you end up with. Look at the people around you. Ask yourself the question, who should I count out? Who should I count on? And who should I count out? When you make up your mind that you're going to do something different with your life, listen to me. Environment is everything. Everybody's not supposed to go with you on the journey of your life. There's some people are going to be envious of you. There's some people that's going to be jealous of you. And there's some people that's happy with you just the way that you are. They don't want you to change. I'm telling you what I know. I left Miami with a Greyhound bus. The first time I spoke out of Florida, listen to me how God works. First time I spoke, Hillside Spiritual Center, Dr. Barbara King. If you have somebody remember Barbara King, put some hearts in the comments. And I just read my book called Live Your Dreams. I did not know. I didn't know. Dorothy Bell Rucker, my birth mother, seated on the front row. She was actively engaged in that ministry of Barbara King and was a part of the committee. Said, y'all bring Les Brown in. He's got a book called Live Your Dreams. They didn't know what our relationship was. Barbara King and I were very good friends. And my niece that I just discovered, I want you to go online and put in Les Brown's 2021 surprise. My niece said, Uncle, as you spoke, your mother cried all during the service. And I asked her, what's wrong, Auntie? And she just waved her hand and kept saying, that's my boy. That's my boy. She said, I thought she was agreeing with you. I did not know what she was saying. That's my boy. She knew me, but I didn't know her. And I always wondered, would I ever know anything about her or my father? And then my oldest son, Calvin, did a genetic search. Come to find out, 45 minutes from where I am now, my brother and I were conceived in Gainesville, Georgia. But she and my father came down to Miami to give birth to us. This thing called life. Come on now, you can't make this stuff up. All things work together for good. Those who love God. Come on. Oh, this is not to break us. This is to bend us in the direction of what we need to do to take control of our destiny. It's a wake-up call. That's all it is. It's a wake-up call. No time to be scared. No time to be engaged in conversation. Did you see what they did? No. Wherever we were pointing at them, we got three fingers pointing at ourselves. Whoever you are, wherever you are listening, take responsibility. Decide that you're going to step up. Take responsibility. Decide you're going to go all in. A.L. Williams said, all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough, but make sure you do all you can do. I ain't playing with you. Don't come for me. I didn't call an Uber. Okay. My medication went off. So, I'm going to be on often. I'm going to do an event. And I know just a handful of people. I don't want some big event where the hundreds of people, 1,000 people. I want a small group of serious, committed people who are operating on the mantra as they look at their goals and dreams to take a stand with their life and have the will to do it. If that's you, email me. I don't want to say where it's going to take place, because I don't want people just showing up. No, I'm just looking for a handful of people, about 60 or 80 people, the will to do it. Email me at lesbrown77@gmail.com. And the title of it is called You've Got to Be Hungry. How to monetize your dreams, how to leverage artificial intelligence and make it our ally rather than our enemy. How to develop a new skill set. I'm learning stuff every day. I work ChatGPT. I call it Charlene. Okay, listen, I'm doing it. You're never too old to learn. You're never too young to teach. And I'm learning from young folks teaching me. Why? I come from the school of thinking if you don't use it, you lose it. People spend time looking at Netflix, sitting around every day looking at television. You know, isn't it interesting how you can be in the same house with someone and you live in two different worlds? Somebody put some hearts up or some flames, if y'all know what I'm talking about. In two different worlds. I was talking to my twin brother, Wesley. He's my hero. And Wes is a Purple Heart, as I mentioned earlier, did 2 tours in Vietnam and the Persian Gulf. I said, Wesley, we got to really be selective in what we're eating. You can't eat Dunkin' Donuts every day. He said, you make your choices and I make mine. Whoa, he checked me. And it reminded me, Mamie Brown had a sign on her mirror. Oh Lord, help me keep my long nose out of other people's business. I had to back up out of my brother's business. I motivate people around the world, but none of my brothers and sisters listen to me. No, why? They know too much about me. Familiarity breeds contempt. And so I want to say something else to you. This is major what I'm going to say. The reason there's a book called The University of Success, that most people are failing and filled with fear and uncertainty and anxiety and hopelessness and depression because they are distracted by what's going on in the world, distracted and consumed by things they can't do nothing about. This is the time you got to put yourself on a mental diet. Nothing can get through except through the ears and the eyes. So I don't consume anything and giving it occupation in the real estate of my mind unless it can help me get to the next level. People ask me, how you doing? I'm cancer-free, I'm debt-free, and I'm drama-free. And I work at it. And here's something else. I want you to write this down and put it someplace else. A lot of people, and I've learned that there are certain phone calls I don't take. Why? Because they would deplete your energy. That's important. There's some people that you know it's a gimme call. You know it. So write this down. This is important what I'm saying to you. And put some flames up or some hearts up if it resonates with you. Are you ready? Good. Don't be the go-to person for people you can't go to. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. There are people that they're always there when they need you. Don't be the go-to person for people you can't go to. This is the time you've got to be selective of your friends. Practice OQP, only quality people. They did a study at Harvard University. He wanted to know what was it, the 1%ers who control the wealth of the world, what did they have in common? And it said they had a reference group of people who had goals and dreams. They held each other accountable. They were learning from each other. They're helping each other to grow mentally and emotionally and spiritually and financially. You know, one of the big mistakes people say, if I had my life to live over again, I wouldn't change anything. I don't say that. If I had my life to live over again, number one, I would not have been on the sidelines thinking that I wasn't good enough. For 14 years, I stopped me. There's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And if I had my life to live over again, as a parent, I made a bad mistake. I wanted to make life easier for them. I heard about Dorothy Bell Rucker, Beulah Rucker, the Beulah Rucker Museum, my grandmother. They asked the kids to do something. If they wanted something, they had to do some work to get it. I want to make it easier for them. No. Work. Putting in the elbow grease, effort, discipline, determination, drive, hunger. That's how you develop your character. That's how you discover who you are. That brings out the greatness in you. No. Everything that I've experienced, all the rejections, I'll never forget. This company, they hired me to speak, and they had all these speakers going before me, and they all had 90 minutes. And I was the first African-American speaker to be on this platform. They said, Les Brown? Yeah. You got 15 minutes. 15 minutes? Yeah. Wait a minute. Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, all these other guys, they got 90 minutes. You got 15 minutes. And something said, Don't get angry. Write this down. Anger is the wind that blows out the lamp of the mind. I said, okay. And I took that 15 minutes and I milked it. Do you hear me? That 15 minutes, I got the butter from the duck. That 15 minutes, ain't never seen nothing like that. Almost had them speaking in unknown tongues. Chevrolet, Honda, Toyota, Tababota. I milked that 15 minutes, and I decided, because of that experience, I'm going to be so good, they'll never do this to me again. I'm going to be so good, I can get my own audience. I won't need them. I'll be so good, I'll set up my own stages, and I'll train my own speakers. Let the things that we experience bring out the greatness in you. So this is a time of great opportunity with all this craziness that's going on. You have to be hungry for greatness. Have the mindset that you're destined to win. Discipline yourself. The will to do it. Whosoever will, let him come. If you got some value out of what I've shared, and you want to be a part of my reference group, a community of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. This is a time that we have to have mental resiliency. This is a time that we have to increase our skill set and leverage artificial intelligence. And I got some tremendous partners that's working with me. If you ready to start your own business, you ready to promote yourself, your skills, your knowledge, you ready and looking for a breakthrough, I'm your guy. I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. And if you want to be a part of my community of greatness, with a mindset we're destined to win, email me, blessbrown77@gmail.com. Say, hey, I want you to coach me. I'm going to have a session. It's going to be a minimum investment. And I want to be in a room. I don't want to do a Zoom. I want to be in the room. There's something about being in the room. There's something about the energy, about the experience. Oliver Wendell Holmes said, once a woman or man's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. I got some people out there listening to me that my name is on you. You know my voice. You know it. I ain't playing with you. Let me read some of these comments over here. How long have I been talking? I don't know. Let me see. Put on my Walgreens glasses. Okay. All right. This is. Dennis said, I have the will to do it. And Jonathan said, value for sure. Felicia said, right. Okay. Michael said, mental resilience is key. Absolutely. Mental resilience, leveraging technology, artificial intelligence. We're in this place where Einstein said the thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. It's a new level of thinking. I'm going to share with you. I'm going to do this seminar. It'll be around 60 to 70 people. I'll show you how I made my first $1 million in 3 years. And now, with the technology we have now, I had 8 tracks then and cassette tapes then. You can do it in a fraction of the time. And just take care of yourself. You know, a person with the health have 1,000 dreams. A person without the health have only one dream: to get well. And you know it. I mean, don't hate. You know I look good for 80. Come on now. You know it. Just let the record show up in here. You know, black don't crack, because sometimes you need some Vaseline. I'm so jerking hand lotion. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I was getting ready for the broadcast. I said, wait a minute. I see two. I don't believe in gray. My brother, he got all kind of gray up there. Homie, don't play that. No, I told you all don't come out. I'm about to do a broadcast. Thank you very much. I got to create my own brand of mascara. Anyhow. Y'all know I'm a little off. You know I'm not all there. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. And if you got some value out of it, let me see some signs or some comments that I can read. Tell me, what are the top 3 points that you got out of what I shared with you? This time that we have spent together, this personal conversation. What are the top 3 things that you got out of listening to me today? I want to know that. I want to see, did you really hear me? It's one thing to hear, but to listen and to get something of substance out of it, that's important. You know, I'm not a preacher. You know, preachers preach the gospel about Jesus. I preach the gospel that Jesus preached. He said, these things ye shall do, and greater things shall ye do. And I'm here to inspire you to do the greater work. I ain't playing with you. So let me spend some time listening to your comments, reading your comments. That inspired me. I'm coming back again today. I'll get me some honey and hot water and lemon. I ain't through yet. I ain't through with y'all. No, I don't know how much time I have left, and I'm going to work my way all the way through until I leave here. Thank you, Father, for this opportunity to be a voice of hope, to serve. You said you'll never leave us nor forsake us. Thank you for guiding us. Thank you for dispelling the fear and encouraging us to stand on our faith and to know all is well. And so it is. Bye for now. Bye-bye.